Hello, everyone, and welcome to Purpose Driven Life Skills. My name is Tamar, and today we will be discussing the gift of rest, understanding the biblical foundation for rest and its health benefits. So, our key scriptures are going to be Exodus 20. 8 through 10, Matthew 11, 28 through 30, and Psalms 127 and 2. Why rest is God's gift. Rest is not laziness. It is God's idea from creation. In Genesis, even God rested on the seventh day in Genesis 2 through 3. Rest is a command. It is the fourth commandment, and it is a blessing for our physical, mental, and spiritual health. So, what is the biblical foundation for rest? Well, it is a creation principle. God modeled rest after 6 days of creation. So Sabbath was established before the law, rooted in creation, not in culture. The covenant command, right? It was a covenant command. In Exodus 28 through 10, it says, "Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy." The Sabbath set Israel apart, reminding them to trust God's provision. And it is also Christ's fulfillment. Jesus offers rest for our souls in Matthew 11, 28 through 30. So Sabbath is ultimately about resting in Christ, not just a day. So let's talk about rest and the physical health benefits. One, we know that it's body renewal. It improves our immunity, it repairs muscles, it supports brain function. It also helps to balance our hormones and lower stress hormones like cortisol. And it also shows through studies that adequate rest adds years to your life, which promotes longevity. We also know that rest has mental and emotional benefits. It helps to recover from stress by calming our nervous system. It helps to improve our focus by increasing our creativity and problem solving skills. And it also provides emotional stability to help us regulate our mood and resilience. We also know that there are spiritual benefits to rest. We get to trust in God's provision while we pause long enough from work, which shows that we have faith that God will sustain us. It also gives us an opportunity for renewed worship. It creates space to reflect on God's goodness, and it helps to identify ourselves in Christ. Rest reminds us that we are more than just our productivity. So here are some practical ways to embrace rest. One is Sabbath rhythms. Set aside one day a week for worship, reflection, and refreshment. I'm going to say that again. Set aside one day a week for worship, reflection, and refreshment. And then two, come up with daily rest practices. Go for prayer walks, take short naps, and also have screen-free moments. And then incorporate spiritual retreats where you have extended times away with God for deeper renewal. So how can we overcome these barriers when it comes to rest? Because we know that society has given us the hustle culture or the hustle pressure that we have to learn how to reject that cultural pressure when it comes to always being moved, right? And then also the guilt that comes around it. Remember that rest is obedience, not indulgence. And we also know that so many of us, we are busy. But when you plan rest with the same intentionality as work, we know that it can be accomplished. So here's some reflection questions that I want you to think about as you think about rest. How can I structure my week to include true rest? What activities drain me and what activities restore me? How do I feel about not producing for a period of time and why? And I think that one right there is really important, because a lot of times we feel like when we're not producing, or if we're not working, if we're not doing anything, that we're not being productive. But what I've found for myself is that is when I'm the most productive, when I'm not feeling pressure to constantly be doing anything. So here's a challenge that I have for you. This week, set aside 24 hours for God rest or God focused resets. And then create a rest list of activities that renew your body, your mind, and your spirit. And then invite your family into your Sabbath rhythm. Again, my name is Tamara with Purpose Driven Life Skills. If you found any of this information to be beneficial to you, be sure to like, subscribe, and share for any more information that we have. And be sure to go back and look at some of our other topic subjects that we have in Purpose Driven Life Skills. Thank you and be blessed.